Hey, we want to say shout out to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, Red Hill Brewing, Crave Bath and Body, and Level Up Logo. Without you guys, this episode would not be possible. Also, Magic Man, I need some soap. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, while you, the listener, are invited to come up on the front porch, grab a beverage, and set a spell. Hey, we've got a great show lined up for you as always. We have Kurt Nelson. He's a behavioral scientist focused on positive behavior change, motivation, influence, and habit formation. He'll be joining us in the latter half of the show. Appreciate him coming on. Without further ado, though, let me go ahead and introduce you to our starting lineup, lacing on their shoes and running on the court. We want to say what up to Magic Man.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then our very first time, Miss Erin is joining the show. What up?
Hello.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have our producer, Brian.
Hey.
And I, of course, be your illustrious host, Biggin, also now going through puberty again. So this is great. All right. Producer Brian, where can our folks find us on those socials?
We are on the socials, but to get to the socials, the best way to do that is going to be go to sfpradio.com. And you will find that's our home on the internet.
There it is.
Or maybe it's our home away from home. My real home is probably Facebook. But go to the website, check it out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, we're there. We have a couple of new features on the website now. Mm-hmm. So I think the one we're the most excited about is you can actually leave us a message, like a voice message. A lot of radio shows have that where you can like call in and say what you want to say. You can tell us how beautiful we are if you like.
I like it.
Whatever it is. But to do that, there is I forget what the graphic is now, but there's something on the website. Click all the buttons.
Microphone.
Yeah, it's a microphone here. Click all the buttons till you find it. That's the best way to do it. But there is a voicemail. You can leave us a message. And I believe, you have some ideas about that, Biggin. You want to?
I do. So for those that are watching live, we will, anybody, I guess, really, the first person to go to sfpradio.com and leave us a voicemail, just make sure you put your email address, give us that. We will give you a $10 Amazon gift card. So the first person to do that will get a $10 Amazon gift card sent to your email address. And then, for those that listen to the podcast, usually what we're seeing is it's about a 3-week delay. So the numbers really start boosting up after 3 weeks. So we're going to give this 3 weeks. The person who leaves us the funniest voicemail gets a $20 Amazon gift card. So if you're listening to the podcast and you don't ever watch online, that's okay. You can still play too. Go to sfpradio.com, click that little microphone link, and you yourself can be registered if you leave a voicemail, a funny voicemail, to receive a $20 Amazon gift card. That'll buy you something.
All right, I'm going to go right now and do that.
You can't play.
Wait 1 second.
You can't play. Anybody that has a script to the show can't play tonight. So, or family members. So there's that.
Oh, that's no fun.
So sorry about that. Hey, if you can do us a favor, we would really appreciate it. Go over to YouTube, search SFP Radio, click the subscribe button. We're almost to 100, so we would really appreciate a last moment bump. That way we don't have to go, you don't have to search. We can just go youtube.com/SFP Radio. We don't have to do the gobbledygook, as producer Brian says, so we would appreciate that. Go over and do that. If you want to be a show sponsor and have your name on the logos, get shout outs and whatnot, shoot me an email at sfpradio@gmail.com. That would be awesome. We want to say shout out to our listeners from Ontario, Canada. All right, Magic Man, give us some interesting facts about Ontario, Canada.
All right. So let me get the right browser up here. Ontario, Canada. Well, first of all,
wait, what was on your other browser? That's what I want to know. Ruh-roh.
Oh, I have both. I have both Chrome and what is this? Internet, not an Explorer.
Edge.
Whatever. Chrome Edge. There you go.
Incognito
both
mode. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's right. No, Long story. Anyways, Ontario is a home of, well, it's the former headquarters of the company that I work for. We still have a massive presence there in Ontario, California.
We're talking about
Ontario
Canada.
covers. Yeah,
California,
Canada. That's right.
Okay,
Canada,
different places.
Canada.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Is there Ontario,
Very,
California?
Very different.
Do they put
There
gravy on
is.
their
It's
fries
near
in Canada,
LA.
in California? That's
Okay.
Yeah, no, the Ontario, California is actually it's a spillover airport for LAX. But anyways, we're talking about Ontario, Canada tonight. So, anyways, Ontario covers 1 million square kilometers. So we got to go metric here.
What does that even mean?
Canada.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, this makes it larger than Spain and France combined.
Well, how about it?
Ontario is bigger than two other whole countries.
Yeah.
Wow, I wish we had one of those here, like a state that was bigger than countries.
It's called Texas.
Hello, Alaska.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Geography podcast.
That's right.
All right.
Boasting approximately 250,000 lakes, Ontario is estimated to have 20% of the world's freshwater stores. So if you run out of water, head to Ontario.
How about it? 20% of the world's fresh water.
That's right.
That is interesting.
And finally, jewelry lovers will recognize the official stone of Ontario, the amethyst, as the stunning semi-precious purple stone found in rings, necklaces, and earrings.
And that only comes from Ontario?
It's the official stone of Ontario. I don't think it all only comes from there, but
do they have a bird?
Gotcha. I mean, listen, I'll just have a bird.
Yeah, like we have a state bird and a state reptile.
Probably the Canadian goose or something.
If nothing else, the show is educational and maybe half educational because we make the other half up.
Make stuff up. That's right.
We just want to tell you which half is real and what's not.
You have to Google it. All right. So we are going to do How You Be Doing. I ask this every week, brought to you by Crave Bath and Body. If you need some soap, like I need to text you, Magic Man. So if you need some soap, you need, what else do you guys do? Beard oil. You guys do bath bombs. Hand soap.
Body butters. Yeah. Liquid soap. Body butters. Shampoos, like cream shampoos. And
I wonder if there's body butters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's body butters, baby. You better believe
it. Different ones.
You get like garlic body butter.
We could make it. We'd probably have to do one off for you.
Yeah.
Bourbon body butter.
I just think body butter. I'd immediately think like literally like rubbing like what's the brown, the country crock everywhere, right?
Hey, I can see it now. You put it on you, then you lick it off.
Or that's what you need to make the tub look like a country crock thing. That's what you need to do. Like a little butter tin, you know.
Aaron, do you ever use body butters?
Oh yeah.
What do they
They're
do?
like thick, so you get like more moisturized and stuff.
No, it's just like a.
It does work better in lotion.
Moisturizer. All right.
Yeah.
So
Say it again.
Yeah.
It's basically just a moisturizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinnamon body butter.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry thinking about it. All right. So how you be doing, Magic Man? How you be doing?
I'd be doing good, man. We are in Bainbridge, Georgia. Actually, we're closer to Chattahoochee, Florida, but yeah, we're in Bainbridge, Georgia.
Is it hotter than a hoochie coochie?
It is not at this time.
Yeah. Well,
maybe in about 6 months.
I bet, man. This is miserable. So what's going on in Bainbridge?
Bainbridge. Well, I got some facts about Bainbridge.
Okay.
The
More
farmers happens in the winter too. The last outdoor farmers market is in a few weeks. It says November. This must be an old article. Okay, they have milk delivery. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
They have milk delivery. Yeah, and the new Rose Cafe is a must to do for lunch. So,
have you been to the Rose Cafe?
I actually haven't even been to Bainbridge. It's like about 20 miles from where we're at. So, but
well, you're going.
Address.
It's a Bainbridge address, but you're closer to Florida. I get it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna need you to go this week to the Rose Cafe and give us a report.
Oh, okay. I think
can you make that happen?
There's a little bar and grill in Chattahoochee. We're going to try to maybe hit up for dinner tomorrow. I don't know. So if we do, I'll give a report on that for sure. Maybe take a picture of myself on the wall or whatever it was we talked about last week.
There's nothing I want more. Have you updated your Wikipedia page?
No, not yet. Actually, I think I still even I know I even owe you a bio still.
You're horrible.
Biography.
No, just about that.
Yeah. Yeah. All three of y'all need to give me a bio. I'm just saying.
I'm writing it right now.
Yeah, she's right.
Producer,
I'm getting on it.
Oh,
Producer Brian, how you doing?
I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
Well,
uh-oh.
Here in Mecklenburg County, there's no bourbon. Like, you just can't get it. It doesn't. You just can't find it. I don't know if it's like that up where you are, but there's literally nothing on the shelves here. I've been going every week, at least once, just to look. I technically don't need anything, but I like to look, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing to look at. There's literally nothing on the shelves. So it's really kind of got me down. There's one bottle I keep seeing. It's some I've never heard of it, but there's 12 of them sitting on the shelf. It's something out of Texas, but the same 12 were
Garrison
there last
Brothers?
week when I was there. What'd you say?
Garrison Brothers?
No. I've never heard of this. It's some weeded single barrel. It has all the right words on it to make it interesting, but it's like $66 for something I've never heard of. So that's a little literally hard to swallow for something I've never tried. If it's there next week and there's still 12 of them, I might have to.
Might try it.
Might try it, yeah.
There you go. Aaron, how you doing?
I am good. Just I don't know. Yeah, this is my first podcast with you guys, so I'm excited.
Yeah. No, this is gonna be great. I'm excited to have you on.
We're excited to have you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll get to Erin here in a little bit and talk with her and about her, not behind her back because she's right in front of us. So we'll get to her in a minute. This week for me, I had a bit of an issue. I went to go smoke some pork butts, and like you do in an overnight cook, and then at midnight, about 12:30, the temperature just plummeted, and I was like, oh no. So I ran outside, tried to fix what my normal stuff was, but then it was a switch that went out. And just imagine this, at 12:30, I'm tired. I don't want to deal with these things. I'm doing an overnight cook, so I don't have to deal with it. But I am outside in 23-degree weather, only in my boxers, trying to get this thing to work. Unscrewing stuff, trying to put things together, rewiring the whole dang grill smoker. And man, it was a pain in the butt. But finally, I got the fan to kick on and she started going. But man, you talk about some shrinkage. There was some issues going on that. Good night. It was rough.
That's cold. I don't typically smoke meat in that temperature because it's hard to maintain.
Yeah. Well, and it does a great
Aaron,
job.
We're sorry. We have the humor of a 12-year-old.
She knew what she signed up for.
I've heard it all.
She knows me.
She knows.
So anyway, it was miserable just trying to get the thing done. My hands were shaking because it was so cold. But anyway, got it done, got them pulled off. It took 19 hours to do those suckers. So that was crazy. But anyway, it's all done. Hey, next week we're having Nancy Picard. We're going to keep on our theme of how can we make 2022 better in the pursuit of making 2022 better. She is a certified integrative coach through the Ford Institute for Transformational Training and the Levine Life Coach Academy. She's the author of the international bestseller, Bigger, Better, Braver, Conquer Your Fears, Embrace Your Courage, and Transform Your Life. Let me tell you, she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro at the age of 61. 61.
It's impressive.
Wow.
I hope when I'm 61, I can climb the stairs. So Mount Kilimanjaro. All right. Our Southern phrase of the week is "Let me let you go." Have you guys heard "Let me let you go" before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This, since we never dare hang up on the phone while Mom is chatting away, this may be the only way to end our conversation in a timely manner. So we end our phone calls with, "Let me let you go. I'll talk to you later."
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
You know what this reminded me of is when I was a kid, we'd be at the grocery store with my mom, and she never met a stranger.
Ooh.
Like, we'd be standing there in the next to the cereal aisle for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 3 hours, whatever.
What?
I don't know. I was like 8, so time was not relative, right? It's like,
right.
But I'd just be standing there just like, looking around, spaced out, and she's just going.
Yakking
Milk's
away.
getting warm, the popsicles are melting, whatever. Didn't matter. It's just, this reminded me of just that situation.
You just say, "Mama," and then you hear the phrase, "Let me let you go," and you're like, yes.
Yeah, that's the polite
Freedom.
way.
But you're going to say it like 10 more times. It's not going to be the first time. You're out.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what that's like is when you're going through church and then you sing the same song a bazillion times, and then they say, "You can have your seat. You may be seated." That's the happiest time that I am at church, when they say, "You may be seated." And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Oh,
JT, do you do that when I'm up
minutes.
there on Sunday? Are you just ready to sit down?
Every time I'm like, "Oh, we got to hear the song again. You said it 14 times, y'all. Tired of it." Y'all like that song way too much. Y'all proud of that song. Are you paying for, like, you're going to pay one royalty and sing it 15 times? Anyway.
Wow.
It's just me. So let's get into Aaron. Aaron, we asked you to come on the podcast, be part of the show, see how you like it. We love to have a female voice. You are an amazing voice. You've got an amazing voice. You sing at church. You do praise and worship, but you also are just, you don't hold back. You just let people know what it is you're thinking, and it's perfect for the show. So tell us a little bit about who you are. Tell us about yourself.
All right. I am from South Carolina. Little town called Lancaster, and it's pronounced Lancaster, not Lancaster. And I am a hairstylist by day. I've been doing that for about 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. I go to church with you guys. I've been there about the same amount of time as well. And yeah, I just do hair, love it. I like to be creative. I take pictures for fun and sing at church and just whatever is like a creative outlet. So this is super fun. And yeah, I'll try to not hold back and say what's on my mind.
Good. That's
Let her rip, tater chip.
There you go. You're married, so all the single guys watching the show, she's married. She's off the market. You have a dog named Hans, right?
I do. Yeah, I
a
need to
big
work on the
dog.
bio. I'm like, what do I say? How do you talk about yourself? Like, what's your elevator speech?
Right. Yeah. So
I love hair.
So fun. Oh my gosh. You are really into like pop culture, celebrity stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll add that element to stuff, and we're just gonna look at you like, I don't know what you're talking about, but all right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna love it.
Yeah. I love all that stuff. I'm like, what's the gossip? I just want to know all the things. Like, so love celebrities, love all that stuff.
Spill the tea and things like that. Is that right?
Build a what?
We're gonna spill the tea. Is that the phrase?
Yes, spill the tea.
There you
That's
go.
my favorite thing to do. Truly.
Is
Billy.
I
TMZ
am a
your
true
favorite
Southern
website?
woman.
What'd you say, Magic Man?
I said, is TMZ your favorite website?
No, actually. I mean, I do
that would
follow
be-
them, but that's not. I mean, yeah, no, I do follow them, but I'm into like other like e-news, and I'll watch other stuff like that. So, but yeah, I do enjoy
and
it.
you watch like The Bachelor and those things?
A little bit, yeah. I was really into it like a while ago and haven't kept up with all of it, but I do love some trashy TV, like a Real Housewives, like New Jersey's my favorite.
Okay.
I'm very much into that. So
I would love like
I could talk about that forever.
yeah. So that's like you tell us what show you want to give us a synopsis of each week, and we'll just have your story time of these characters and see if we can get into it.
Perfect.
That'd be great.
Perfect. I love it.
All right. All right. So let's go to Wacky News brought to you by Level Up Logo. Hey guys, check out Level Up Logo. They make awesome hats like that I'm wearing now. So check them out. Anything you need, promotional materials, stuff, we talked about last week, material at a gas station, flyers, whatever else, paper that you want to hand out there. They do quality stuff. So check them out at leveluplogo.com. Hats, shirts, coffee mugs. We're going to get all of our stuff from that, and they do quality work. One other thing I was going to say, Aaron, we're going to try to give you a nickname. And so if anybody can come up with a nickname, leave it on the voicemail, that'd be great. But over time, it's just going to come organically, naturally. We're not going to force anything, but if anybody can think of a nickname for Aaron for the show, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
All right. So Wacky News, producer Brian.
Yeah, man. We have a couple quick articles here before our guest shows up. The first one, actually, we're going to do a video clip. So something kind of crazy happened on this news station. I believe it's in West Virginia. Okay,
yeah,
so
we're going to
play this clip. It's a minute and a half. It's pretty impressive. That's all I'm going to say. So
sure,
I'm going to go to that right now and play.
And now we're starting to experience, unfortunately, in freeze thaw, we see this, water main breaks.
I just got hit by a car, but I'm okay. I just got hit by a car, but I'm okay, Tim.
That's the first for you on
okay.
TV, Tori.
Woo! We're all good.
He is unfazed.
I'm okay. Yeah, that's live TV for you. It's all good. I actually got hit by a car in college, too, just like that.
Wow.
I am so glad I'm okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're okay. We're all good. This is, you know what? It's,
Watch the dude.
We're good, Tim. Man, you are so sweet and you are okay. It is all good. Oh, Lord.
So
it's my last week on the job, and I think this would happen.
So you were bumped
specifically to me, Tim.
Were you bumped down low, Tori, or were you hit up high? I couldn't really tell from the looking.
What is he doing? He's
don't
trying
even,
so hard.
Do you know if I was bumped down low or up high, sir?
I just saw you disappear.
I don't even know. I don't even know, Tim. My whole life just flashed before my eyes. But this is live TV and everything's okay. I thought I was in a safe spot, but clearly we might need to move the camera over a bit.
Yeah.
So let me do that while I'm thinking of it.
Now, just to set you stage for you once again, Tori's in an area right now where there's been a water main break, so there are emergency vehicles around there, and a lot of times what we have seen in those kind of situations are when emergency vehicles are around, there's a lot of confusion from people about drivers about where to go, so it's possible
people
that's
get
what happened
distracted
there.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Night only on CBS.
He's trying so hard to. Oh my gosh. Oh. Gosh,
the
he got
dude didn't
hit.
even bad eyes. He was like, oh.
Yeah.
I would have been freaking out. Like if we were doing the podcast and Magic Man just starts rolling because a tornado hits or something, I'm going to have a reaction, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Did you hear her say she got hit in college like that?
What was she doing
Exactly.
at college?
What is she doing? What are you doing to get yourself in these situations? I need to know.
Yeah, Lee Short mentioned that on the comments too. He says can't skip over this. That this is the second time she's been hit by a car.
She completely.
Oh, what's that? There's like what's the Mayhem insurance commercials?
Oh yeah.
There's one out right now where he's like, I'm the latest TikToker, and he's like standing on the side of the road. I mean, is she like essentially doing her newscast? Because these reporters go out with just them and a camera, and she must be like in the middle of the street.
Wow.
She reminded me of that. She kept saying, "It's fine, it's fine." That meme with the dog,
with the burning,
with the house,
the fire. This is fine.
It's fine. This is fine.
No deal. We're good.
I've just broken every bone in my body. It's fine.
Yeah. And why was he so concerned if she got hit up top or down below?
I mean, I'm trying to news report while she
Oh man,
sir, this is not the place.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the podcast, we'll have that link up on the show notes. But man, that was rough. She just got hit by a car. You're fine, ma'am. You're so sweet. That would not be my reaction, by the way. I would be throwing everything I could. And it's her last week of the job. Like, screw this. I'm going to go out with a flame of glory.
A lot of curse words.
Yes.
Would have been said.
Good job for her.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have stopped what I was doing, probably.
No.
I kept going.
Goodness. Do you have another story here?
Yeah. So this next one really cracked me up. All right. So we've all been to Gastonia, North Carolina, right? Been through there.
Have we ever?
Yeah. Have any of you ever been to Switzerland? That's my question.
Not yet.
Okay. Well,
no, but I think I know about this story, Brian.
Well, there's not a lot. I wouldn't say there's a lot in common between Gastonia and Switzerland, right?
None.
But speaking of TikTok, a viral TikTok video influenced a Florida woman to go visit what she thought was a small pastoral village surrounded by snowy mountains in North Carolina. So this lady was already like in Florida. She's from Florida. She was in like Charleston, right? And she sees this picture of a dude in front of like a snow-capped mountain in Switzerland, right? And then so she decides she wants to see this snowy mountain because she lives in Florida and there's not mountains. So she drives to Gastonia, North Carolina, which is about the most unscenic place you could go to, maybe.
Yeah.
No, apologies if you're from Gastonia and you love the ambiance, but
my bad.
It's there is a mountain pretty close.
Yeah.
Right.
That part's true.
Yeah. So she drove from South Carolina to Charleston. She was already in Charleston. That's like a 4-hour drive.
And she convinced her family, right? She's like, guys, this is going to be awesome.
She couldn't be bothered to do a Google search.
Like when you like on your phone, if you type in the city you're going to, there's usually some pictures attached to the map.
Yeah.
And that's. I'm not sure if I'm more impressed that he convinced her that she just decided to go and brought the whole crew, right?
Yeah, I think that even when you read through the article, I think one of the things that stood out to me was she said, well, there was many nice gas stations that were there to use the restroom in. There wasn't a lot of happy things she said about Gastonia. So the one great thing about Gastonia, I will say this, they have a public park where you can skeet shoot. Take your shotgun, $5, you can shoot a box of clays, and it's high tech. It's all, you just say pull and it shoots out automatically. Okay. So that part's kind of cool.
Is there a snow-capped mountain behind it?
No, there's no snow-capped mountains whatsoever that I know of. So. But it looked pretty. Like that picture, there was a lake, snow-capped mountains. Nowhere that it would have been possible to confuse that with Gastonia.
Yeah, and this was the pic. Like this guy had been to Switzerland, and it wasn't like a green screen photo of a mountain behind him. He had actually been but he just tagged. Yeah, and apparently he's done this with a few other cities.
I was gonna say,
Like it's like a viral thing he started doing, but he
does it as a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Where were some of the other ones? Did it mention?
It did. Let me read through these real quick. What were the other ones? It says a series called Not Carolina. Oh, where's the other ones? Gastonia. I thought they mentioned it. There was one. They said I love skiing in Boone, but it was really the Rocky Mountains. A little bit different there. What was there's one from like a cathedral in Italy, and he labeled it Concord Mills Mall.
Oh my gosh!
Well done.
Yeah, those are the two it mentions here. So
wow,
really funny.
Goodness,
really funny.
All right. So again, live podcast.
Live podcast.
TV. No guest.
Oh, yeah, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Awesome.
He's here. You want to bring him in?
Yeah, we can bring him in.
All righty, let's do it. Well, hold on. I got to assign this to him. It's my first time, guys. Here we go. Hey.
Hey, Kurt. Can you hear us okay? Can you hear us? Uh-oh.
Can't hear anything. All right. Might need to check your audio output.
Check. Can you hear us? Can you talk?
He's not muted.
Oh. Let's see if we can hear you. Uh-oh. We can hear you.
I can hear you now.
Okay. The headphones were throwing you off, huh?
They were. Technology. Who knows?
And you have a podcast. You understand technical glitches all over the place, right?
Oh my God. It's the hardest part of the whole damn thing. So
can't ever get anything to run right.
No.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. We'll go ahead and introduce you, and we'll get going.
Perfect. Sounds great.
You have any questions for us before we get started?
No, I've listened to a couple of your shows, so it sounds like you just have some fun conversations, right?
I apologize. Miraculously, you decided to still show up, so there's that. Yeah. All right. So, Brian, can you play the music?
And now, our feature presentation.
All right. So we have continuing our series of the pursuit of making 2022 better. Our feature presentation is Kurt Nelson. He's a behavioral scientist focused on positive behavior change, motivation, influence, and habit formation. We're going to be able to have all of your stuff out there under the guests information, but you've got podcast marketing for companies. You do, you're on Twitter, Instagram, all those things. We'll have all that stuff on our show notes and our guest information, but you are a busy man, sir. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you guys for having me. This is going to be fun. So
yeah. So my first question to you, as a behavioral scientist, which one do you prefer? Criminal Minds, the Mind Hunter, or if you don't say this one, then you're off the show. Profiler.
Well, I think I don't have an option there, huh? I guess that's how it goes. So actually, Mind Hunter is pretty good. So if you think about that, you're thinking about like how they're actually profiling people and understanding some of the underlying, behaviors and different things. So yeah, all good. I've only seen a couple episodes of each of them, so I can't say for anything really good.
I'll say this: you're probably not missing out on Criminal Minds. And Profiler.
My son watches that one like religiously, and
Really?
I watched it a couple times with him. I go, I don't get it. So
when I was a young lad, that's when Profiler was on, but there's a reason why I watched that show. So there's that. So is this your like Super Bowl of interviews and things? New Year's resolutions. Is this when you get booked the most?
It happens a lot. We get booked all over, but yeah, there's a lot of people kind of. This is the time of year when people put those resolutions out there. They set their goals for the year. And then actually about this time, right? About the end of January is when many, according to, different surveys, between 60 and 90% of people are dropping off of their resolutions, their goals by about this time or in the next couple weeks. So, yeah.
Wow. See, I think producer Brian had it right when he said we just forget January, all the New Year's resolutions to start on February, because that's when you'll be ahead of most of the curve already.
Yeah. And it's a shorter month. You don't have to do it as long to get the whole month done.
That's right. Oh, well, let's get going. So people desire change. Why do we have this start-stop issue?
So there's lots of different issues, and so it's hard to claim just one different piece. But there's a lot of this is like oftentimes we set goals, and we set goals not because they're really meaningful to us, but because we think that those are the types of goals that I should be setting. And so then you don't have commitment to them. One of the things that we know about goals is that the more you're committed to the goal, the more likely you're going to have it come true, and you're going to be doing all the things to do that. There's other factors too, which come into play of thinking about, are you setting goals that are approach goals? In other words, these are goals where I want to do this versus a avoidance goal, which is a goal of I want to stop doing this. Approach goals are typically easier to achieve, but they're not always there. And so you can do, have avoidance goals as well. But those are some of the things that you can do. And then there's all the types of things that happen in between the habits and all those other factors. So that happens as well.
Yeah, I get that thing where you say you should, it's January 1st. I should, lose weight, and you end up shitting all over yourself. Right. So I should do this. I should do that. Should be a better husband, should be a better father. But it's so hard to maintain that if, your desire, motivation, what have you, isn't there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we talk about, and one of the things that we know from research is that goals can be very powerful, right? You can set them up. But the fact of the matter is that there's what's called the middle problem. So there's a theory that's called goal gradient theory. So when we start off with a goal, think about this. Anytime you start a diet, you start an exercise regime, you start like, I'm gonna run, 10 miles. All right, let's just use that one, or 5 miles or 2 blocks, whatever it is. And you start off and you have really high motivation. And then there comes a point where all of a sudden, it's kind of slogging. It's this thing I got to do. And oh my gosh, it gets bad. But then near the end, all of a sudden you see the end and there your motivation pops back up. So if we can get through, because usually we have a lot of, this is the thing that we're talking about right now with January, right? We're in the middle of January or the end of January. And so we've had that motivation to begin the year with, but now we're getting into that middle part. And so I use the example of my daughter, who's now 12, but when she was little, we used to walk to the park. And so the park is about 10 blocks away. And we'd start off and she'd be pulling me, she'd be grabbing me, and she'd be going. But then about block 2, 3, 4, all of a sudden it's like, Papa, carry me. And so I pick her up. I'd have to carry her. And then about, we cross this kind of busy street in Minneapolis. And then all of a sudden she can see it and bam, she's like, get me down. And she runs off to the park. But that's kind of how we all are, right? We're all that way. We have that piece. And so one of the things that you can do is think about, how are you setting up your goals? What's the time frame of your goals? Can you break your goals? Are they big goals? Can you break them down into smaller goals, what we call milestones? Can you so you can tap into that? Because it's like, if you're playing football, your goal is to get in the end zone. But man, if you're 2 yards away, if you're on the 20 and you get 5 yards and you get another 2 yards, well, man, you're really motivated to get that extra 3 yards to get that first down. And so that's the same thing that we do in life, but we don't set up those 10-yard mile markers to do that. We just go, oh, we got to get to the end zone, and that gets discouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say you probably should have tried to find a closer park. That might have been easier instead of having to go 10 blocks. Also, I loved how you started off saying, if I want to run 10 miles and then 5 miles, and you looked at me as like, or maybe 2 blocks. I got you.
I wasn't necessarily looking at you. I'm just thinking, wait, I can't run 10 miles. I can't even run 5 miles. Hell, right now I can maybe get 2 blocks tonight. So
I do have a goal, and this is great for me because I have a goal in October to run / walk a 5K. So that's a huge thing for me. So I'm taking notes. I've taken notes, is that a word? Taken notes on these milestones and to do that. And I love the football analogy. I've got a long way to go, but if I could just, do 1K, and try that and then go to 2 and then 3, that's way more motivation at 3 than I could say, oh, well, I'm almost there. So that's a huge thing of a mindset.
Yeah.
Are there any other like brain ways to hijack your brain to make things easier while you're trying to complete these goals?
Yeah. So one of the things, and particularly if you're thinking about doing things that require kind of a commitment on a regular basis. So again, let's take you're going to do your 5K run walk in October. Well, to get there, what do you have to do? You have to set up your plan of like, all right, I'll start off with, like you said, 1K. I'll start and then I'll go for 2K. Well, what does that mean? And what does that happen? And usually what that means is I'm going to have to get up 3-4 times a week and start with that half a K or the 1K, whatever that would be, and do that. Well, again, we start off, we're really excited about doing it, but then kind of time wears on and it's like, it's early, the bed's warm, it's kind of cold outside. I can miss today. And so there's a couple different things that have been done. Katie Milkman is a researcher at University of Pennsylvania. She talks about doing temptation bundling. So if it's something that you don't like to do, like she kind of used this on her own. She said, I didn't like going to the gym. So what she did is she said, but I do like listening to books on tape. And so she put these books on tape, and I think it was Harry Potter or something like that she really wanted to listen to. And she said, the only place I can listen to it is at the gym. So it's bundling something that you really want to do with something that you need to do. And that way you get more motivation to do it. The other thing is it's really hard to start. Like in that morning, it's cold, it's, everything. And so one of the things that you can do is just say, well, all right, I don't really want to do this, but I'll just put on my running shoes, right? I'll just get my running shoes on. If I get my running shoes on, I've done enough for today and I can stop. What typically happens is it's the hardest part is to get started. It's kind of like Newton's law of motion, right? An object in motion tends to stay in motion, an object at rest tends to stay at rest. Same way with our motivation. But so if I get my shoes on, now it's like, I got my shoes on, I might as well go out. And then, so you start doing it. So you set those like even mini goals, even milestones to the little milestones that you're setting. So
nice. Very good. What are some other key, I know like creating habits and, once you start, it's much easier to get going. So what are some tricks to get those habits to be formation? I think is it 29 days to complete a habit? Is that how it works?
So there's a lot of misinformation out there on the number of days. The latest research that I've seen has shown that look, some people can form habits in 19 days, and other people, same habit takes 260 some days. And they kind of look at that from a various of different pieces. And so it depends on the habit. It depends on the person, depends on their commitment, depends on their personality, all of those types of things. To your point, the best thing to do, though, is to just be consistent about it. And consistent in a different way. So we often think like consistency is, I need to do this at 8 a.m. every morning for the next, 29 days, 30 days, whatever it would be. Well, if you can have a little bit of flexibility, again, in the way that we think about how we change our behavior and build up these kind of mental grooves in our brain that become these habits, that is a way of just saying, all right, doesn't have to be 8, but I want to do it before noon. All right. So I kind of set that up. And then you set up, I do a little routine in advance of it. And I kind of get the excitement about it, particularly if it's something that we kind of like to do, or if there's that temptation bundle that we have with it, so that your brain starts releasing the dopamine. Dopamine is a neuromodulator. It's the wanting kind of neuromodulator. So it kind of drives our wants and kind of makes us say, hey, I want to go get that bowl of ice cream, right? Because I know that when I eat that ice cream, I'm going to get some dopamine release. And actually the dopamine release of me that's even thinking about it makes me go and want to get that ice cream.
Sure.
And that's a whole different piece of this. But so if you
Dad,
set
I'm
up the
gonna go get some
routines
ice
in
cream now.
advance, set up those routines in advance, kind of keep it consistent in the time of day. Some other things that work for people, and there's a variety of different ways that you can do this, is one is just to make sure that you are to have some sort of checklist. So we like to see that progress. Progress is a major motivator for us, even if it's a little progress. And that little progress can be just a check mark on a calendar or a app that you have that tracks your progress, and you don't want to break the streak. Now, that can also have a backfire effect. So I want to caveat with that is that have some grace for yourself. Have a little bit of, say, flexibility, saying, I'm going to do this 5 times out of 7 days, and I can miss 2 days to do it. And when you have that, it's been shown to have a much stronger influence on the long term, because you don't, as they call it, it's called the what the hell effect. It's actually an effect that they have labeled in the literature. It's called what the hell effect. That I missed something, or you know what, I'm on a diet and there's a donut in the break room, and I eat the donut, and then I go, what the hell? So then I eat just 3 donuts, right? Yeah. So.
Right. No, I totally get that. Absolutely. I did listen to another interview that you had, and one of the things that you pointed out, you said that, one of the things that can help is to get a partner to help you.
Yes.
And the reason why you said that is because it's easier to let down ourselves than it's easier to let other people down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there?
We are really good at rationalizing our own faults away. And also in this idea of putting elements out there that we do something or don't do something because of these outside influence factors, circumstances, and it doesn't necessarily relate to who I am. So we are much easier to let ourselves down. There's another component that's called the fundamental attribution error, which means that I will attribute to others all these negative consequences when they do something bad. It's their character, who they are. They didn't study. That's why they failed the test. They're idiots because they passed me on driving too fast. But when it's me, I rationalize things away. And so when you have a partner, you can't rationalize yourself away to them. And so we feel that desire to make sure that we're not letting them down, that they're not going to believe the kind of BS that we tell ourselves about this. And we know it. I mean, there's a subconscious part of us that knows that. So it's really powerful. The other thing about having a partner with you is that they can act as a cheerleader. They can act as the accountability person to say, hey, you said you were going to come and do this. You got to do it. And they can also just be there and say, hey, you're doing something. Can you think about doing it this other way? Give you some coaching or helps or hints. And so all of those factors play into that. And it's really powerful if you can really get a team. That's why running groups or biking groups, if you're doing exercise type things, study groups, if you're trying to study for an exam, all of those things. And actually, the smaller the group is typically the better, because if it's a large group, you can, again, they won't miss me. But if it's a small, tight-knit group, that's the best way of doing that.
I have this quote I wrote down and I have it stuck to my laptop for work. The reason why most people fail is because they give up for what they want most for what they want right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh, you have touched on a massive component. And again, I'll bring in the behavioral science word, but basically it's just what you just said. It's called temporal discounting. This idea that what is immediately in front of us takes on a much more importance to, or a higher desire for what we want than things that are distant. They're distant, they're far away. It's hard to really be concrete and imagine what that is or how I'm going to feel for that. But the thing right in front of me, oh, wow, that's when the dopamine's being released. That's when that desire gets there. It's that, I'm on a diet. I really desire to be on that diet and to be healthy and to do that. But dang, that donut is right there. And my mouth is salivating,
Sure.
It's hard. It's really hard. And our brains operate in a way that just makes that very difficult for us. So one of the things that you can do about that, though, is to do what we call when-then statements. So if you know those types of things are going to be putting you into, kind of think, what are going to be some of those roadblocks? What are going to be those pieces? And then you set up a statement for yourself. When this happens, then I will do that. Now, it's not a guarantee. You're still in that hot state. It's called a hot and cold state too, is the other thing. Like when I'm sitting at bed at night and I'm going, oh yeah, I'm going to exercise in the morning. That's a cold state because that's far away. And it's, waking up in the morning and it's cold outside and it's warm in my bed. That's, it's warm in the bed. I'm hot state and I want to stay in that hot state. So, those are some of the things.
That's awesome. That's really helpful. Magic Man, I think we usually let Magic Man ask one question. So he says that he's got a question for us. So what's your question?
Yeah. Hey, Kurt, thanks for being on the show. The question I have is I think for a lot of people, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you have a lot of motivation. You have a lot of energy, excitement, grab the bull by its horns and stuff. And then you hit your 40s. Particularly your mid to late 40s, and I'm speaking for myself. I'll go ahead and admit it, but I know a lot of people have the same experience, just from conversations I've had, where you just tend to kind of, you're not motivated. Life's kind of blah, nothing really to be excited about. You're just kind of existing. Do you have any tips or anything as far as getting some of that motivation back, some of that energy back to where,
Yeah. I see why you only let them ask one question. They're hard. They're really hard questions, man.
I think it's called low T. At least that's what the commercials say.
Low T. There you go. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't answer to that, but man. So there is some pieces to what you're saying, though. So one of the pieces that you're talking about is that when you're young, when you're in your 20s, you have the possibilities are out there, right? So you only have you've only made so many decisions within your life and had so many kind of paths that you've gone down, and still that future is pretty wide for most people. At least the perception is pretty wide that, hey, I can do all of these things yet. I have time. I have, the youth on my side. And as you get older, those opportunities tend to narrow. They tend to get, less and less. Like I'm 54. When I was younger, I would have loved to have climbed, Mount Everest, and that would be a cool thing. I used to be really big into reading mountaineering books, and I could probably still do that. But man, that window is probably pretty narrow, and I know in a few more years I'm past the window of being able to do that. So that's one of the reasons why. But I think what you can do, and this comes down to mindset, which is always a little a woo-woo kind of thing. But it's like, what can you do? What are some other things? And what we tend to do is we tend to narrow for here's what I thought of when I was in my 20s of the things that I want to do. But as we go through life and experience life, things change. And oftentimes those ideas about what we want and what we need don't change with that. And so you can change your mindset and say, what are the things that I can actually accomplish now and still do that? And actually take a step back, take that step back to say, you know what? I still have a lot of time left. I still can do a lot. I mean, and start looking at some of those people that didn't start their, massive careers until they were much older, and, use those as kind of those beacons of light that are out there that you can go, hey, if they did it, I can do it too. So I don't know if that helped, because that was a tough question. So
yeah, I know it was, but no, thank you so much.
All right.
And you don't know this, but Magic Man recently sold his house. Him and his wife are in an RV with a dog, and they're traveling all over the country. So for somebody that says, oh, I don't know how to do anything, like, I don't have any motivation, that's enough motivation right there. You're done for the rest of the year.
I heard that episode. I was listening to that, and I was like going, wow. You had to downsize and get rid of all your stuff, but yet you still put your grill at your sister-in-law's. I heard that part.
That's
too,
right.
Yeah.
Well done. And Kurt, this is Erin's first time, her first podcast ever. So
hi,
Erin. I love the name. That's my wife's name. So there you go.
Oh,
there you go. Erin, did you have a question?
Yeah, I think I was just I was watching an interview you did, and it got me thinking about. I think you were talking about like how like necessary and like good it is to kind of get that like positive like reinforcement or encouragement from people and kind of keep you going in your goals and stuff like that. And I was thinking like, gosh, I feel like, and like I was thinking about myself and I was like, I feel like I can sometimes sort of, when I get that positive reinforcement and that encouragement, start to almost like self-sabotage in a way, if that makes sense. So like, do like, oh, I'm good, I can eat this donut and do whatever if I'm on a diet or whatever I'm doing, like I can skip a workout and do all this, and it sort of starts to snowball, and then I'm like, oh, I haven't been to the gym in a week, or I didn't do that thing I said I was going to do, or read that book, or whatever. And I feel like I how do you get out of that like mindset of like getting that encouragement and just taking it and almost not like, kind of at face value, like, okay, cool, thank you. And then sort of like trucking along and doing your thing.
Yep. There's a couple things. There's a couple pieces I think that you bring up. So one is there's a psychological phenomena that's called reactance. And that is this element that we have when we feel, oftentimes it's like when you feel like they're taking something away from us as freedom, and we react back, we push back on that. And so sometimes those kind of upbeat, hey, great job, cheerleading kind of things get interpreted in our minds as like, oh, they're telling me what to do, they're like expecting me to do this, and there's an internal resistance to that. And so that's where that can come in. And so one of the things to just kind of halt that before it starts is this idea of reassessing. And they're not telling me, they're wanting me to succeed at what I want to do. They're not telling me that I need to do it, but they're helping me. And so it's a reframing of what this goes on in our head. Now that's not easy. We have those immediate things happen, and it's really hard for us to kind of stop that and go, oh, all right, I need to reframe this. But if you can, that can help. The other piece that you talked about, though, is this, all right, I'll miss this workout, or I'll have this donut, or I'll have this other piece. And then it just snowballs. And that gets into what we talked about earlier, and that what the hell effect, and it comes in there. But one of the things that you can just do is just say, okay, I haven't worked out for a week. But now I can do a fresh start. And so there's been other research that says, look, even like if you say, all right, it's Friday night, I'm going to start Monday. and I'll give myself the weekend off, but Monday is a brand new day, or the beginning of the month, or the beginning of whatever the week number is. And if you can do that and you just restart from that piece, it's that continuation on, and you say, okay. And a way, again, to help in that beforehand is you can do little mantras too. James Clear, who wrote a fantastic book called Atomic Habits, uses this mantra. He works out a lot. He's a weightlifter kind of guy. And he goes, there are days when I just miss. There are days when I miss that thing. And it used to beat myself up over that. And he said, so I just have a mantra that says, don't miss twice. So it's allowing him, it's kind of that thing of saying, I'll do 5 days out of 7. It gives you the grace to say, yeah, I can miss something, just don't miss twice. So I don't know if that helps, but hopefully gives you some insight.
Thank you.
I think I want to bring up the idea of grace on yourself, because I don't think that we give ourselves enough grace at all. Like even, beating ourselves up constantly. I'm the guy, my wiring is worst case scenario guy. Like I'm always thinking what's going to happen. But I'm starting to learn to give myself grace, and things aren't always the sky isn't always falling. And that's taken a long time for me to get to, a lot of therapy to get through. But man, we don't love ourselves. And I think that's a huge, huge issue as well.
Yeah. We just, on our podcast, we just interviewed Dan Pink, who's written a number of different books, but he was talking about, so he has a new book coming out. It's called The Power of Regret. And he's talking about regret and all those different things. And he says, but one of the things that we did with the research that we got from this is that people often have kind of this flagellation that I'm beating myself up, that there's this like, oh, you're the stupid, you never do things good. And, people go, oh, well, that motivates me. I need to do that to keep myself motivated. And all of the research points to the fact that doesn't work. It doesn't work on yourself, doesn't usually work with others. But what he's talking about is having some self-love, awareness, self-contemplation about, hey, I'm in a good spot and I can do these things, and to give yourself that space to just say, hey, this is okay. Self-empathy, this idea. And we don't do that enough. I agree with you 100% on that we really need to give ourselves more breaks, because we hold ourselves pretty high accountability sometimes in those situations. And if we do something that we feel bad about, we beat ourselves up over it, and or we rationalize it away, which is the other piece on the other side. So
you mentioned your podcast. Can you tell our listeners about your show?
Oh yeah. So I'm a co-host on a podcast, co-founder of Behavioral Grooves. We interview behavioral scientists and authors about behavioral science stuff and how you apply those insights to life and work, whether it be about goals and habits and setting those, or whether it be about, why your crazy uncle has those conspiracy theories and what goes on in their brains, to different things about, a wide variety of different pieces. But it's a fun podcast. And so, my background, I'm a behavioral scientist. I have a PhD in IO psychology, and the work that I do works with companies and applying that to help employees be more motivated and engaged. So, and that's the fun side, getting people to be excited about what they're doing.
What are the biggest things that motivate people?
So this is interesting, right? And everybody, this is one of those big questions that I get asked, and I do the classic consultant, classic researcher is it depends, right? So there's really interesting stuff though, because every individual has what's called a motivational profile. So I am going to be motivated by different things than you will be motivated, than Aaron, than Magic Man. We're all going to have different motivational things that pull our strings. And those are based on a number of different factors, from both our biology, what our mothers ate while we were in there, being kind of conformed, and all of those things actually changes our biology and changes different aspects to our early childhood, to all of the psychology things that people talk about. But the other factor is they're contextual in basis. So in other words, my motivation today is not necessarily going to be the exact same next year, or a couple years from now. I'll be in a different space. I'll have a different thing, and that isn't too bad. But motivation profiles can change in an instant. So oftentimes we're many people are motivated by money, but there's also motivated by social bonds and being connected with other people, motivated by adventure and different pieces, learning. There's lots of different things that people get motivated by. But hey, if me and my spouse are both working and we're feeling good, we feel satisfied about the income we're making, then that becomes less of a motivator for me. All right. If we have the ability to take some trips, and that those trips were motivated, we are excited to do them. Well, now, the next trip, if it's right after that one that we just took, is less of a motivator for me. So it's kind of contextually based. So even next week, I'll have a different motivational factor than I do today. So hard to answer. I'm sorry. That was a really long answer. And you wanted hey, this is a motivated money, and then comes, sex, and then comes whatever. And that's, I just can't say that.
So. I understand. You can't give out all your secrets, because then what are you going to charge if you give it all out here? Totally get it. We could find you on Instagram at 100 Behaviors.
Yep.
I think you've missed marketing, where you could have said 99 behavior. I've got 99 problems, but behaviors ain't one. So, just saying, just throwing that out there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to tell my marketing guy, my communication guy on that. We might, I'm stealing that right now. If it comes out, I'm sorry, no royalties to you.
That's a hell of a long Instagram, but I got you. Kurt, thank you so much. I'm taking notes. I'm reading your stuff. I'm subscribing to your podcast. I hope in October we can have you back, and I can say, look, I did it. And I did the 5K.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
I would love that. I would hope. And you know what? Set yourself up, put some, tie some temptations to that, make that checklist. There's one more thing before we go. I'll tell you this. You can also set up what's called a Ulysses contract, right? So a Ulysses contract is a thing that you set it up either with somebody, or there's websites to do it, where you say, all right, if I don't do this, then I'm going to either pay a large amount of money or do something that I really hate doing, or whatever that would be. There's one website called stikk.com. And what they used to have you do is, like, you donate money, but you need to donate it to a cause that you hate, right? So if you're a Republican, you go to the Democratic Party. If you're a Democrat, you give it to the Republican Party, et cetera, all of those kind of things. And then you just have somebody who takes that. So that's a motivator. It's a negative type of reinforcement, but there's another thing you can do there. All right. So with that, thank you guys. I'm sorry, I talked too much.
Hey, before I let you go, can you give us a bump? This is Kurt Nelson, and you're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast.
This is Kurt Nelson, and you are listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast.
Perfect. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
Hey, thank you guys. It was fun. You have a great night, okay?
You too. Bye now.
Bye.
All right, so who's doing this 5K with me? Huh? We got this?
I'm having like deja vu right now.
I know. I said this last year. I said this last year. But no, I've committed. October 22nd is the day I'm doing the bubble run. And so we're doing it.
Oh, what's the bubble run? Yeah. Can you talk about it?
You basically run in bubbles, or I'm going to walk. I've got to start somewhere. So I'm going to walk, and they have a bunch of bubbles, and you walk through the bubbles. So that'll make me happy.
I'm picturing like one of those big clear plastic hamster ball things.
Oh.
Yes.
You could like walk through one of those.
Fun.
That'd be awesome, right?
Well, because if you fall, you could just roll like 100 feet. So that'd be good.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
So, wow, what a great guy. I feel like with Kurt, I just want to like give him a hug. Like he's just, just a great guy. What'd you guys think? Tell me about your thoughts. What are your takeaways from that interview? Yeah, nailing it.
Awesome. Not all at once.
I'm still processing. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of good information.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Super good
I think.
And just, yeah.
Oops, sorry. I think setting those milestones is huge. Like those little things. Because if I say to myself, I'm going to run the 5K, that's not going to happen. If I say I'm going to walk 2 blocks, hey, I got that. I can definitely do that. Just what are the things I can do, and just do those. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah. So I kept thinking like these behavioral things, because how do you? I never just asked. Like, it came to me now. Like, how do you prevent yourself from like seeing the Taco Bell commercial and then making a run for the border? Right? Like,
sure.
that happened to me this week. Like, I've been watching a lot of football, and there's always Taco Bell commercials. So like Wednesday, we don't do that, but Wednesday night, guess what dinner was?
Taco Bell. How about it? How was it, by the way? Did you hate yourself?
Yeah, I think so. A little bit. Yeah. Something about that hot sauce. Those hot sauce packets, just they have an effect.
Oh yeah, buddy. You'll feel those later.
Yeah.
The only thing I get out of Taco Bell is breakfast. I enjoy their breakfast a lot.
Breakfast is good. I don't like but my kids have decided they like, or my daughter decided she likes it. Then I found something my son likes, so now it's like it's in their consciousness.
Okay.
So
all right,
it happens. What are you gonna do?
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, again, Nancy Picard, certified integrative coach through the Ford Institute, 61 years old. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and she is the author of the international bestseller, Bigger, Better, Braver, Conquer Your Fears, Embrace Courage, and Transform Your Life. Hopefully you guys are getting something out of this series, how to make 2022 better. After this, we are going to kick off February with things that we love. So that'll be our next series that we deal with. So stay tuned for that one. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. And as always, keep looking up.